welcome back to another minimalism video. I'm really excited to be recording some more of these videos about how my first KonMari experience went, and I want to put them all out as like a series because there are 5 categories, so probably one a day for like a week. So this is the second category. This is the books category, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really bad with this one. So some of the books that I had finished reading and knew that some of my friends would like them or enjoy them, I gave those to them, or in a few cases, I shipped them to them. And then any other books that I had already read and did not want to keep for whatever reason, I donated. So I did do that. I will say that there are some books in my house that I did not get rid of, and some that I did not get rid of or go through during this category, and I'll tell you why. So some of the books that I did not go through during the books category were books that were related to a craft or a hobby. And that's because I wanted to evaluate all my craft and hobby stuff during kimono, which is the 4th category. So any quilting books or magazines related to cross stitch or quilting or anything like that, I saved until I got to that point of kimono. Some other books that I definitely am not probably ever going to get rid of. I have all of my old yearbooks, so not getting rid of those, because that is something that I really enjoy having, and actually 2 of them I think are missing. They're somewhere. I just don't remember exactly where at this point. The other thing is my collection of hardback Harry Potter books. Anybody who knows me, I am a huge Harry Potter fan. I have a Harry Potter tattoo. I just can't. I absolutely love Harry Potter, and so the collection of my hardback books is something that I will never get rid of. Those are the books that I read the entire series on, that my mom read the entire series on. I have digital copies of the books, so even if I never read the hardback books again, yeah, that's one thing. That's one possession that I'm just not going to get rid of. The other thing is I have the illustrated versions of the Harry Potter books. Those are obviously not going to go. I am buying them for a reason. So that's something that's never going to go. And I have a classical set of books that has been like handed down, and they are originals to this set. They are not original copies as far as like the books go. I mean, a few of them might be original copies, but this set, they're like the fabric bound books, and they're incredibly old, like late 1800s, early 1900s, that just keeps on getting passed down. I'm not getting rid of those. It's about 12 of the classic books. And then I do have a set of books that I don't want to get rid of, but at the same time, I don't really know what to do with them either. They were my grandfather's, and they're incredibly old, but they are basically like history books, and I love history, and so I kind of kept them for myself. I kept them, one, as like a memento. I don't have many things of my grandfather's, and 2, I love history, and so they're like broken down into like not necessarily decades. Some of them are decades. It kind of depends on how much history happened during that time period, but it's the history of America. So those I kind of like kept. But as far as like my books, aside from like the Harry Potters and like yearbooks and things like that, I did not get rid of too many of them because I went through, and if I had it also on a digital format, I did get rid of it. And if I accidentally had 2 copies, I got rid of one of them. But a good chunk of them I kept because I do want to slowly go through them. And as I read through them, I am getting rid of them. So I kind of just gave myself my books because I don't like to keep them. Like, I don't ever, I mean, it would be nice to be like, look at my library, but at the same time, it's not realistic for me. There are very few books that I go back to often. Like, I always go back to Kill a Mockingbird, to the Harry Potter series. There's another one that I always go back to, and my mind is drawing a blank right now. But some of those books, I will always want to keep a copy of because I do actually go back and reread them. But most books I don't. Like right now I'm reading like the Aurora Teagarden series, and I read the Sookie Stackhouse series and some of that kind of stuff. I got rid of the ones that I had already read because I already know what happened. I don't really want to ever read those again. Like, I know who the killer was in that book, so it's not as exciting. And you're probably thinking, well, that's kind of like the same thing in Harry Potter, but it's kind of not. If you are a Harry Potter fan, you know it's not the same thing. It's just different. Like, Harry Potter is like this world that you get enveloped in, and like some of those like murder mystery type series, like, you know. They're like a good one-time read. The other thing is like any like health-related book or anything like that I'm like reading just out of interest and things like that, or biographies. Once I've read it, you know? So they're easy to just be like, oh, done, and donate it, sell it, or I give it to a friend to read. The other book set type of book that I had a significant amount of was my old college books, and I was able to get rid of a ton of these. I have one class left to getting another type of certification, and my friend gave me her book for these couple of classes that I did, and I have the one left, and I can't remember, honestly, I cannot remember which of the 2 books that she gave me I've already gone through, because you kind of use both in the classes, and I don't know which one this last class needs, so I did keep both of those books. But as far as all the books that I had kept from my previous degrees and things like that, I only kept a few of them. I did have almost all of them, and I got rid of all but maybe like 3. And that was because they genuinely they continuously spark interest for me. I didn't keep like all of my college books over the 6 years that I was in college. 1, that's insane. And 2, not all of my classes had books. But I did finally get rid of, like, I took a computer class, but like 2003 is not valid anymore. And my health class, but like biologies and things like that, I would always sell those back in the day. The only ones that I like really, really, really kept are 1, the ones that you couldn't sell back, and 2, the ones that were pertaining to my actual degree, not like the ones that like everybody takes. So I kept a lot of the stuff specific for my degrees and minors and things like that, and a lot of them I just don't care about anymore. So I kept a zoology book, I kept my meat science book, and I kept a zoonotic diseases book because those are super, super interesting to me. I also kept anatomy and physiology. So those are just like some of the stuff that like I just continuously find interest in, and I just wanted to have a book about it at my house because I already had it. So sorry. Something was itching my eye. So that's kind of how books went for me. So really, they did not go very well for me. The other thing with books is I've been cleaning out my bedroom back home at my dad's, and I have a little bit left to do, not a whole lot, but the majority that I did over the last couple of months, I brought back all of my books from back home. There were a few that were there that I knew I did not want anymore, but there were some that I did possibly want, but did not know if I already had them here and things like that. So I've got to finish unpacking those couple of crates that I brought home, and the next time that I do KonMari, this is kind of why I want to get this first experience videos out of the way, is in preparation for me starting the KonMari experience over, because I kind of want to do it as like a spring cleaning thing for this year. So I keep on saying and I don't know why. But I'm going to be unpacking all those books and putting them with the rest of them. And this go round, I do plan on being much stricter with myself on which books I keep. If they genuinely, like, I'm going to actually read what the book is about. It's recommended that you don't. It's recommended to just, like, you either want to read it or you don't. But some of them I definitely probably do, but I don't remember exactly which book it may be. So that is something that I'm going to do. If it's like a maybe pile or something of that sort, I will be reading the description of the book and making some decisions that way. Otherwise, I know there's probably definitely some books that I'm just not going to read. I don't know why I still have them. I probably have no interest in them anymore. So books are probably going to take me a lot more time than they did before, and that's because I'm going to actually like really truly cull them out. Some of them I'm going to be keeping because I'm like in the middle of the series, and before like the whole Hastings, I used to be the video manager at Hastings. Before ours shut down here locally, I went and bought some of the rest of the books in a series that I was reading, and whenever the company as a whole was going out of business, I bought the rest of the books out of series that I'm slowly working my way through, because I like reading other things in between. I have many books going at a single time. So those kinds of things, like the ends of series and things like that, I'm not going to be getting rid of those, which I know is just keeping clutter around, but at the same time, every time I finish one, I do get rid of it. So books was kind of hard for me because I don't feel as bad keeping as many around, because as I do read them, I do get rid of them. So it's kind of one of those catch-22 type categories for me. But this time I am going to be way more strict on myself. I will have all of my books in my possession, or at least all the books that I know of in my possession, to go through and cull out. And so that's kind of how my first KonMari experience went with books. I was not super successful. I was not super strict on myself. I gave myself a lot of leeway as far as that goes. And part of me regrets that, but part of me doesn't. All that I can do is just do better on that this time. And yeah, the categories are supposed to get to like harder things, and it's not that like clothing is a lot easier for me to get rid of than books. It's just clothing for me is harder because like I have, stuff that I want to turn into like quilts, or, a few things that like my mom made me or things like that. And I do have some books that I have like strong connections to that I don't want to get rid of. Obviously, I stated that at the beginning of this video, but for the most part, I just love books, and I love to just constantly be in the middle of like 10 or 20. So it's kind of hard for me to just be like, yeah, well, I haven't finished this one in 6 months, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. But it sometimes, some books I read really fast, and some books it does take me months, because maybe the content of it just is not, I don't know, if I'm reading like a biography or like some type of like medical type based book, it's harder to just plow through those if that's not like your natural forte. and you're just reading it because you're just interested on the subject matter. So for me, books was a little bit harder, and so I'm just going to approach it a little bit differently this next time. So anyways, that's how my first KonMari experience with the category of books went. And stay tuned, because whenever I do start this process over, I'm definitely going to be more strict on myself. I'm not saying that I want to get rid of 50% of my books or anything like that, but I am going to be more strict on why I'm keeping things. And even if I do still keep majority of my books, I know that they're like in the process of to read, and I will probably separate like my to read and then get rid of books and my I'm keeping these for forever and always type books. So that way it's like easily distinguishable. So that's how my book category went, and if you've done it, let me know how yours went in the comments down below, or if you have any questions for me, please also leave those in the comments down below, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye guys.